What's up, everybody? It's Rashid and Christian here, back with another banger episode of the 4F Entrepreneur Podcast. And today we got a lot of great topics to discuss. So I'm gonna hand it over to Christian, let him start getting some of the juices flowing with you all, and we're gonna go into it.
Yeah. So first, I kind of want to just break the ice with a funny story, right? So we talked about this in a YouTube short, Rashid, but we did not talk about this on the podcast. Our business that lasted us about a week.
Oh yeah,
ATM business.
oh yeah,
our failed business. So Rashid and I,
sure.
for some reason, we thought it'd be a good idea to go around to all these little businesses, laundromats and stuff like that, and try to set up an ATM in their laundromat. And then we went to a barbershop. Nobody was feeling it. We could have been a little bit more persistent.
True.
But
that's fair.
And then we did the research on it, and we were like, okay, that the fail rate of this is really high. You can't get funding. Rashid taught me about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the funding of it, you can't get your business funded. So we made the mistake of not doing the research before opening the business. So that might have been the quickest business I've ever heard of. I think we were at it for about a week.
Probably about a week. And like by doing that, I also learned it's certain things that I tell you all when you all start businesses up. But one, don't bother getting everything incorporated and everything like that until you see it all the way through. You got to see it all the way through and start putting the business into fruition a little bit. Honestly, say make a little profit out the business before you even take it on and get it incorporated and everything like that. Because we just at that point we just wasted our own money.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't no potential for us to make money. Now I ain't saying them business can't work, but that like in the city that we're in, it's very hard to pull that off because most people here are kind of smart enough to put them inside the business that need them, so they can just make the cash flow on top of it. So yeah, that was I ain't gonna lie, probably one of the quickest business things I've seen. Because like I said, we was done, but I mean, you learned a lot from it though. Like I said, and the knowledge I got from doing that, it transferred on to the other stuff I'm doing, especially with church, things like that. So
yeah, learning how to start the LLC, learning all those different things.
It's like we was talking about with funding and stuff too. There, like that's a big thing, guys. Like if you got a business type that's high risk, they're not gonna let you fund it. You'll find that out rather quickly.
Yeah, because the banks don't see you as trustworthy. And that's going to be something that we're talking about today is being trustworthy. There's a really, really good book by Thomas Sowell called Wealth, Poverty, and Politics. And it talks about, in part of the book, a fraction of it talks about how trust is the fabric of any successful country. So Rashid, if you think about like a poor country, what are some of the countries that you think of first?
You'll think about your third world countries first. Wouldn't be us. Yeah.
And get this, I guess that's a trigger word now, third world.
Oh yeah.
So like it's offensive to people now. Yeah. But anyway, so like what are some countries? Just give me some. What do you think?
Well, let's say probably the Philippines. We'll go maybe Thailand. I guess some parts of Africa too. They might not be. Yeah,
absolutely.
There, yeah. People that don't have that same type of living that we have.
Russia.
Yeah.
Yep. So there was a stat. Korea. Yep. There was a stat. So in the 90s, for every Russian company, they were valued in the same production, same amount of abilities and everything. They were valued at 1% of the same size American oil companies because of the corruption, because the officials in the companies were doing billions and billions of dollars in bribes. So they were stealing a lot of money out of the companies. So like, if you think about it, like you wouldn't want to do business with somebody that isn't trustworthy, And also another thing in this book that I thought was really interesting, he said there's different levels of trust in different cultures. So like, and it's that's a little controversial too, because some people think, oh, we're all equal. No, we're really not. Unfortunately, there's certain cultures that have a higher standard to how they can business. And I mean, think of the Jews.
Fair.
That's why everybody hates on them. Because they are very good with business. They're very good with their money. They prioritize education. The Japanese and the Koreans are the same way.
Yeah.
Isn't that really interesting though? How it's like,
it's kind of like you mentioned earlier. It's like we don't want to hear that stuff if it comes from somebody else. If that makes sense. That's a little controversial, but I mean, I feel like it makes sense though. Honestly, it's like if us as people, like I don't like to generalize people, but let's just say like people that's my skin color. We don't like to hear like stuff like that. Like, okay, yeah, the way these other people set themselves up because they're just more, like I said, they're more like they read more, like I said, they do stuff that allows them to be on a higher level.
It's not because you're being held down. You can admit that.
It's not because you're being held down. That's what people like to say, oh, we're being held. No, you can actually do the exact same thing. But the crazy part about it, if Beyonce or Jay-Z say that, then we'll listen. But it's just because it's somebody else, we're not gonna hear that.
Yep. And in the book, so it's by a black man named Thomas Sowell, very educated guy, PhD, Chicago, University of Chicago, and I think Harvard as well. And he talks about it used to not be like that with black people. So the single motherhood rate in the black community has skyrocketed. And there's a direct relationship between single motherhood and poverty and lack of education. So back in the, let's say, post World War II, the latter half of the 20th century, for pretty much 1950 until about the 80s, give or take, the black people were actually doing better than most minorities. But it's actually the course is reversed, and now you have Asians. They're doing really well. But we're not going to make it like all about like race or anything like that. But kind of the point of it is there's different levels of trustworthiness and different standards that different groups of people hold themselves to.
That's fair. Like, I mean, and like you said, all the different groups have it's different levels of trust. Like you said, like Lily said, different levels of trustworthiness that we hold ourselves to. And it's like whoever the messenger is just makes us want to hear it. But you shouldn't be like that though, because I honestly feel like everybody has something good to say. Everybody has something good to say. I think people just have a lot of biases. And I mean, it be instilled in them from parents and all that kind of stuff. But once you become an adult, and I think the best way to look at it is just, like I said, everybody, just look at it from the standpoint that everybody got something good to say. You got to develop your own mindset, though, because you got to be able to know what you deem is valid and what you don't deem is valid. But you got to stop. I've said people need to just let go of those biases of other people and all that kind of stuff, because you're missing out on opportunities and business ventures and all that kind of stuff by just saying, oh, because this person does this or this person is this race, I'm not gonna hear what they got to say. Like that just sounds crazy. But people
and a lot
like that actually do.
Facts. And a lot of people do it to themselves. They're like, oh, because I'm like this, I don't have that opportunity. Or, oh, because this person is this way, that's why they have what they have. It's like, have you ever stopped and thought, okay, maybe that person did work hard? Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It's a cop out a lot of the time.
Cop out, and that's where we got straight. A lot of people nowadays they prefer to cop out over just understanding that these people just worked hard to get where they need to be. They'd be like, oh, like for example, let's say, like I said, people that grow up in a single parent household, they say, oh, because he had his mom and his dad there, that's the reason he got that way. That don't mean that. I know people in a 2-parent household that experienced the same thing you did. The dad could not be nothing either. Like the same thing. Like you don't know somebody's situation. I'm pretty sure everybody kind of has some sort of struggle the same way. They might not have the same struggle that you had, but I guarantee they had to struggle and all that kind of stuff to get where they need to be. So I just want to just say to everybody that's watching this, y'all got to get rid of those biases and all that kind of stuff. And because that stuff is not going to help you. Like you said, y'all doing it to yourselves. I'm being real. Y'all are literally doing it to yourself, and it's holding y'all down. You want to elevate your mindset from that and stop looking at stuff that way. And just like I said, look at it from, okay, this person had to struggle and they got to where they need to be because they made these changes in their life to make themselves successful. That's what most successful people do. Like they go through the same thing. Like I said, they might not have the same problem we have, but at the same time, them going through stuff, them trying to build a business. So that's a struggle and stuff. Do y'all know how hard it is for these people to make $1 million businesses? That's a struggle in itself. You got to do it when nobody don't believe you. So y'all talking about the little problem we have now. Think about that. Like you trying to build a business like Disney, Apple, or something like that. Many people ain't believe you. They're gonna tell you no. That's crazy. Nobody can ever do that, but you did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you see, like that's how people live, though. It's all people copping out, though.
Yeah. No, facts, bro. And an uncomfortable truth is the only reason why someone is not where they want to be in life is because of themselves.
Fair.
It's no other reason. You got to take extreme ownership. You know, like Jocko Willink says, if you're on the way to close a deal and you're in sales, or you're on the way to give a presentation and your car breaks down and you're late and you don't close the deal or you botch the presentation, guess what? It's still your fault. Take ownership anyway.
Fair.
If your girlfriend leaves you, if your boyfriend leaves you, take ownership. Do better. It does. It's, you know, some people call that toxic masculinity or whatever, but you know, if taking responsibility and ownership is toxic, sign me up. I guess I'm toxic.
You got
know, screw it. I mean, if that's the label that we want to say, then I guess, you know, sure.
I mean, you got to take ownership. That's the only. I think that's the only way you could grow from situations. Like a lot of people nowadays, they like to play the victim mindset or just say, "Oh, because of this and that is why I'm not there. This didn't work because this person ain't believing me. This didn't work because I wasn't doing business with this person. This person snaked me." You gotta take responsibility sometimes. Like, all the time. Honestly, everything in your life is your fault. If you're not in shape, I guarantee you it's your fault. You ain't going to the gym if you want to. You drinking beers on the weekend where you need to work out and stuff like this. The life you live in is entirely your fault. It don't matter where you come from. Anybody's situation can change at any time. That's what I want to stress everybody too. But it's all a matter of what you try to do to change it. You got to change yourself for stuff to change. Stuff ain't gonna just change on your own. That's a lot of people that be saying, "Oh, I'm gonna just keep praying about it," with no action. They do that too now. That's what people do too. Oh yeah, I'm gonna just keep praying about it. And people with all this money, but you ain't doing nothing but playing the game all day, sitting on the couch. That's not gonna like none of this stuff ain't like none of your life will not change. I guarantee you that. If one of y'all, I ain't gonna lie, one of y'all dumb enough to try it. Just sit down and keep saying that God gonna bless you and give you some money, and you ain't gonna do nothing to go get it. Like, come on now, that's
not how the world works.
That's not how the world works. The world never, like, even on a logical standpoint, we ain't got to be spiritual. In the world don't work that if you don't do anything, you're not gonna get the results that you want. You got to stop copping out, all that kind of stuff. That stuff got to end. You got to put the action in. Everything in life is your fault. So if you're not where you need to be, change it. It's easy. Change it.
Absolutely. And, you know, like you said about the part where you said that just praying about it and not actually taking action. There's a quote by Benjamin Franklin. It says, "God helps those who help themselves."
Facts.
So you have to be proactive. And I'll say this. I grew up on welfare. I grew up on food stamps, single mom.
Yeah,
but I love my mom to death. And honestly, I hope she doesn't hear this part because I don't want to make her feel bad. But we probably would have been a lot better off without welfare and food stamps. Get why I say this? It's a lot.
Okay.
But and this is the new thought for me because I used to get defensive whenever I would hear this argument.
Yeah.
My mom was still able to. Sorry about that. My mom was still able to buy us expensive shoes, stuff we didn't need. She was still able to go out and have fun with her friends and the club and stuff. She was still able to, you know, buy things that she shouldn't, I should say. You know, just like so many other single moms from our demographic are able to do. You know why? Because they're being empowered to do so. We're telling them, hey, you know what? Right now, you're in a position to where you aren't being productive in a way that is making you self-sufficient. It's okay. Here's some money. Here's some here. We're gonna take this from the taxpayers. We're gonna give this to you so that you can cover food. Yeah. You take that other money and you go and you do whatever the heck you want with it.
Fact.
Tax season.
Yeah.
It's the happiest day in the hood. Tax season is.
Oh no, that's fact.
Ain't it though, bro? Let's be real.
If y'all are skin color, y'all know that. That's the happiest day.
And we can probably say the trailer park too with white folks.
Oh,
you know, for me, bro, I remember vividly. My mom, we'd always be sitting around April time period, right after tax season, and it'd be rough. And she was always like, "April's always the hardest time of the year. I don't know why." Yeah. Well, now I know why, because you dig yourself in a deeper hole. 90% of lottery winners are worse off than when they won the lottery.
That's what I'm saying.
Income taxes for the child credit is nothing more than a small lottery gift from the government to poor people for them to dig themselves in a deeper hole.
Mm-hmm.
What do poor people do? Look at the stimulus checks. What do poor people do with money that they don't work for?
All they do is stimulate the economy. That's all they're doing with it. They're just giving it back.
They're like, giving it back, and they're worse off.
And they're worse off. And I don't know why. Like people, we just gotta change our mindsets. Like you can't be looking at stuff like that. Looking at stuff like that is not that's not gonna help you out because, like I said, that did all of us can agree. Like that was like taxes time. Every time taxes time came, I guarantee you a month or two later, over with.
Struggling.
Oh, why I ain't got no money? Because you blow it. You literally blow it. You get it instead of you setting yourself up with that money, so you gonna be prolonged through the year. Y'all just blow it instead of be wondering, dang, why April and like some of them quit jobs and stuff when they get their tax. They're like, yeah, I'm quitting my job. I just see that a lot when I was younger. Yeah,
that's wild. Like they think they made it
for kids and stuff. Yeah, when they get their taxes, they quitting that job. They get about $6,000 something like that. They quitting.
So I know a friend from my mom's friend from my hometown. I think the single income tax credit is about $5,000 a kid.
Yeah, something like that.
She has 7 kids.
Ooh, run it up.
So she runs it up.
Mm-hmm. But don't have no job.
All the kids don't even live with her. I think a few of them do, but the other kids are with their dads. And she getting child support.
And that's another thing. Like it's a lot of, I don't know. Like I said, that's kind of like what you were saying earlier. We kind of be we can just say generalize as people. We be the detriment to ourselves, but we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about the stuff that we do that keeps us in the position that we in. Instead of changing our mindset, reframing it, and looking at it like, okay, it's like if it was me personally, I was getting that much of tax, I would think about a way to stretch that for the year, invest in something that I can just make that money kind of stretch through the year instead of just okay, let's go to Disney World, let's go to Universal Studios, let's do this, let's do that, let's go on vacation, let's buy you some new J, like stuff like that. And it doesn't add up to none of stuff. That stuff depreciates. It doesn't no real value to any of that you buying. That's why I tell people like y'all gotta get a grip on it. Like honestly, it's 2024, it's 2025. If you don't get a grip on it, like what you gonna do? Like again, like I said, that what we're talking about, ignorance tax, that gap is going higher. It's gonna be a point where you can't get out the ignorance tax. You can pay it down, but sometimes the tax bill keep getting higher and higher by doing stuff like that. I don't know.
And it's almost like the government wants certain people relying on it.
Yeah, that's another topic too. I also think that as well. Like it's kind of like they, like I said, it's encouraged, especially like we want to talk about like people that like single moms. So it's encouraged for them to do that. I don't know
about welfare
reason that they want that. I haven't pinpointed it yet, but it's kind of like it's all encouraged for them to do that and blow their money like that and just depend on them, blow their money. Well, I guess to put it back in the economy, I guess.
Think about it like this. It's not even like that, bro. It's you got the right idea, but it's not to put it back into the economy. You made a good point about that earlier point, but I will tell you the reason why. Okay. It is dependency. So think about it like this. You're running for mayor. Yeah. And you're the reason, your party, your group is the reason why all of those people are able to live the kind of lifestyle that they want to live, right? Well, if you take away that, I dipped out. Oh, you can still hear me, Lick?
Yeah.
Okay. So think you take away their stipend, they're not going to vote for you anymore. So the Democratic Party supports welfare, and who is the biggest recipient of welfare? Unfortunately,
be poor people, right? People, single moms, and stuff like that.
Yes, and poor people, and what it is honestly poor minorities.
Yeah.
So poor minorities. Yeah.
Also, I think about like even with stuff like that, you have to make a certain amount of money, and it's gap because like I noticed that might be a way to keep them in because like they say, okay, if you make over this amount of money, you cannot have welfare. So some of them look at that and be like, okay, I just got to make sure I make less than that. So that is another way to tie into that dependency thing. Yeah. Keep going though.
Yeah. So dependency is one. And also it's like, it's pretty much dependency. So it's a power thing. So as a man, we know the importance of financial independency and being able to eat what you kill and being able to make your own money and not having to rely on anybody else. So it's almost another way to emasculate, honestly, I'll say, the Black community. The more power you have over a group, the more they're going to want you in office. So why is it that most Black people are Democrats? Black people used to be Republicans.
Yeah, we had that conversation when we was in the car that one time, like the whole history between that.
Yeah, I'm not a Republican or anything, but I'm just stating history. I think that the welfare state is actually a detriment to Black people. Why do we need welfare? We need to empower ourselves. And if you look at Africa, a lot of the welfare that goes over there, this is crazy. I'll share some research on this. Okay. A lot of the welfare that goes over there to Africa, it goes to the people at the top, and then they either collect a lot of that money and keep it and hoard it, or in the form of like clothing and things like that, it'll go to like markets. So in a book called Adventure Capitalist, there's a guy named Jim Rogers. They did a whole road trip around all of Africa, and he saw like these shirts that came from like these big old churches in America and all this clothing that was supposed to go to the people. It went to like the local vendors, and they were like selling it and stuff. And same with the food. Get this, the farmers in a lot of those countries like Ethiopia that receive a lot of aid, they just stop in their fertile fields that could be producing and creating jobs and stimulating the economy. They don't do anything because they have all this food coming in from the outside, and they're dependent. So think about that same analogy and apply it economically to minorities in America. Why would I work as hard and receive less money? I'm making more money on welfare. If I bump up, I'm not going to get as much on welfare. It's also a power thing too. Last point. You're not able to, once you take responsibility for your own life and your own income, then you don't have anyone else to blame. And that's a really scary thing for a lot of people. Because some people play the victim their entire life. Fact. So the moment you give that power, you take that power of being able to take responsibility and be the captain of your own ship, a lot of people, oh shit, I got myself here. Some people will never be able to admit that to themselves, and will continue to point and blame other people no matter what.
Facts. That's, like I said, that's a conversation right there that you really got to just think about and digest on, because like he's not lying though. Like honestly, I think if most people just stop playing that victim mindset, you'll realize a lot of this stuff that's you got going on in the situation that you living in is entirely your fault. Like you got to be honest with yourself. Everything that you do is because of you. Everything that's set up like that, the way you live in, if you're staying in an apartment, you're not staying in a house, that's your fault. It's some there, you're not saving money somewhere, you might be going out too much. All that stuff is tied to you. That's one thing I want to tell you. Everything is tied to you. So once you start reframing the mindset, that's what the 4F teaches, reframing that mindset. That's the thing, reframing the mindset. Once you do that, that shows you just, how to be better and stuff like that. And once you get that, then you'll be able to, pass all the biases and all this that the world puts out for you, and you'll be in a better spot. That's what I gotta say.
Absolutely, good point. And one more thing is, it's beautiful. It's a really beautiful thing whenever you are able to take responsibility and you're able to take ownership for where you are in life. Because whenever you start to do good, and you will start to do good once you adopt that mindset, then you get to say, "Hey, I got myself here." You get to be proud.
You get to be proud.
In the same way that someone in the bottom is blaming and saying someone else got me here. Yeah, you're gonna be able to, whenever you're at the top, to be like, "I got myself here." And no successful person ever plays the victim. Fact. Like not if they want to stay successful. Like, dude, people go broke, millionaires go broke, and they make it right back, because they
know why they went broke. They tell you, it's why I did this one thing right here. I'll probably party. That's why I got broke. So this time around, not doing that. So like, I tell you, they don't never play the victim, because they wouldn't be millionaires.
Exactly. Yeah. So man, we covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think that pretty much pretty good episode. Yeah. I think we knocked out a lot of stuff. Like I said, that's a lot for y'all to digest, and like I said, just start. Basically, I want y'all to take from the episode is just like I said, stop playing victim and just reframe your mindset and understand. Like, it doesn't matter who says it. If they got good information, you should listen to it. Read a lot, learn a lot, and become better and change your life around. So, like, closing words for them.
Yeah. I mean, you hit it right on the head, man. You know, be a trustworthy person.
Definitely.
People are going to want to do business with you. People are going to give you their money. And I know it sounds too good to be true, but people give me their money to buy real estate.
Oh yeah,
and I get free equity because of that. I don't have to put anything. I put in my work and my efforts and my knowledge, my capital. But we're about to do an apartment deal, which is going to be huge. We might be up to, so that might be 12 units in itself. One deal that's enterprise. So we're looking at that right now. But you know, just be a trustworthy person, and you'll be like a lighthouse, and the boats are like other people, business partners and things like that. People are going to flock towards you. You know, your trust and your values and you being a good person, and you know, staying in touch with God and walking in the Spirit the best you can. You know, we're all sinners, but just doing the best we can, just at least giving it a shot. That people are going to see that in you, and you will be different because there's a lot of negative people in the world. There's a lot of people that just have given up. There's a lot of people that are untrustworthy. If you just do your best, you're doing better than most people. Just do your best. Even if your best isn't someone else's best, well, that's okay, because maybe that person isn't meant to be in your life. Everyone that's meant to be in your life, your best will be enough for them. So just try to do your best. That's all I got.
Facts. No, that's real though, for sure. And like I said, as long as y'all do that, y'all will be good, y'all. But we're gonna get up out of here, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. It was a great episode, great conversation. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Spotify, check my Instagram, Sheeski, Facebook, Rasheed Jackson. Y'all need some just extra help, or just need to contact me. You know where they contact you at?
Yeah. You can find me at Christion Kirkley on Facebook, and then New Horizons Credit on Facebook as well.
All right. And also check out InternetMoneyUniversity.net for like my courses and online content as well. So, all right, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Peace out. Y'all have a very good day. Peace.